The river was already dying long before anyone noticed, but on the morning the fish floated belly up near the eastern bend, the lie finally broke the surface. The water looked calm, reflective, almost innocent, yet beneath that skin something toxic had been, accumulating for years, hidden by paperwork silence, and men who convinced themselves that no one would ever connect the smell in the air to the signatures on their contracts. In the small industrial town of Greyhaven, the river had always been more than water. It was employment, memory, childhood afternoons, and the quiet promise that life could continue as it always had. And that was exactly why the crime worked for so long. At first it began with a single decision made in a fluorescent-lit office where the windows did not open and the air smelled faintly of cleaning chemicals. A mid-level operations director, renamed here as Daniel Cross, sat with his hands folded, listening as quarterly numbers slid across a polished table. The plant was over budget, waste treatment upgrades were overdue, fines were theoretical, distant, and historically small. Daniel did not speak at first. He watched the ceiling lights hum. He felt the pressure in his chest that comes when a person realizes there is a correct choice and an easier one, and understands which one the room expects. When he finally nodded, it was barely noticeable. That nod became a discharge valve quietly installed behind the facility, routed not through the treatment tanks but directly into the river at night. No alarms, no reports, just water carrying something it could not survive. The narrator's voice remained steady here, because the most dangerous crimes rarely feel dramatic while they're happening. They feel administrative. Over the next months, technicians noticed discoloration, but were told it was seasonal runoff. A junior engineer raised a concern and was reassigned to a different shift. Locals complained of smells, 10 of rashes, then of headaches. Each complaint was logged, categorized, and effectively buried. Daniel Cross began sleeping poorly. In meetings, he avoided eye contact. His hands trembled slightly when he poured coffee, yet the numbers improved. Bonuses returned. Applause filled conference rooms. The river, meanwhile, absorbed everything without protest, until it couldn't. When the fish died, cameras arrived. When cameras arrived, executives hired consultants. And when consultants arrived, documents began to vanish. The investigation that followed was slow, deliberate, and heavy with silence. Environmental crimes do not leave a single body on the floor. They leave patterns, illnesses, and futures quietly shortened. Investigators traced pipe schematics that did not match permits. They stood by the river at dawn, listening to it move, collecting samples that told a story no one could talk their way out of. Daniel was called in for questioning. He sat in a plain room, shoulders hunched, staring at a scratch on the table. When asked when he first knew, he swallowed hard. The pause stretched. His voice, when it came, was controlled but thin. He said he believed the impact would be minimal. He said he thought it was temporary. He said everyone signed off. Each sentence sounded rehearsed, and each one failed. The truth pressed in from all sides. Emails, maintenance logs, after hours, access records. The river had kept receipts. As the case unfolded, the town changed. Trust eroded. Parents stopped letting children swim. Property values dropped. A clinic quietly expanded its oncology wing. The crime was no longer abstract. It was personal. Daniel watched from his living room as news anchors spoke his altered name, his blurred image. He saw neighbors look away in the grocery store. Guilt settled into him like sediment. In court, the language was technical, but the meaning was simple. Choices were made. Warnings were ignored. Harm was caused. When the verdict came, it was not loud. It was final. Cleanup orders followed, then criminal sentences, then years of restoration that could never fully restore what had been lost. The river would heal slowly, if at all. In the final moments, the narrator does not raise their voice. Accountability is not about spectacle. It is about recognition. Daniel Cross stood at the riverbank one last time under supervision, hands in his pockets, eyes fixed on the water. He understood then that crimes against the environment are crimes against people you will never meet, futures you will never see, and versions of yourself you will never get back. Sometimes, one wrong choice can destroy a lifetime. Learn from their story. Choose kindness. Choose life. This was just the beginning. The most mysterious and shocking crime stories are still ahead. Subscribe to Crime Flow Narratives and be among the first to uncover what comes next.